Welcome everyone, my name is Paul and you're watching Roads and Rails Hobbies. We are going to tackle a question that I see come up in Airbrush forums quite often. As a matter of fact, it's a question that several of you have asked me, and that is, hey, how's come my airbrush does not work as good as it did when I first bought it? Brushing for a long time, then you probably already know the answer to the question of why does my airbrush not work as well as it used to? So this video may not be for you, so you can skid on daddle down the road unless you want to spend time with me, which I appreciate. However, if you are newer to airbrushing and you are having that issue as to, hey, why doesn't it work as good as it did? Well, I'm going to break a few of the Airbrush Guild rules and tell you the secret about how to fix that. That's right, you guys, you didn't know there were secrets and rules in the Airbrush Guild? Well, there are. No, I'm just messing with you guys. There's no secrets or, hey, I'm just joking. I'm not going to tell them the secrets right now. I'm going to tell you guys the secrets. You guys ready for the big secret? Now, don't tell anybody else this. This is between you and me, okay? But the big secret of getting this airbrush to work as well as it did when it was brand new, clean your daggone airbrush. Nah, seriously, that's really it. Clean your airbrush. But there are two different ways of cleaning your airbrush. And we're going to go over both of those ways today. The first way of cleaning your airbrush is cleaning between color changes. That is not going to be the deep clean that I'm going to show you how to do at the end of your painting session, which is the most important cleaning to maintain your airbrush in optimal working condition. Now, the first cleaning that I'm going to show you is the in-between color change cleanings. As you can see here, I have white and I have a crimson red. So I'm going to actually shoot the red first. Then I'm going to come back and clean and shoot the white, just to show you that it's very simple to even clean from a dark to a light color and keep your light colors, well, the proper color without tinting them with the darker color. So what I like to do first before I start painting on anything is I like to just, make sure that paint is flowing properly. So I just shoot the paper I have on the bottom here. There we go. Works just fine. So here we go. Just a little bit of red on this car here. As you can see, there's red on the car. That's the whole point of this, is just getting red on the car. What I'm going to be using just for the interim in-between color change cleanings are a couple very simple things. Just some tap water and some airbrush cleaner and a paper towel. And that's pretty much it. Well, also we're going to have a little bucket here to pour some junk into. And I have this little paint cup container catcher. I can't remember the name of these things sometimes. Anyways, this is what you spray the crappy stuff into. It's got a filter so it doesn't come out. So, as you can see, the red crimson paint is still in here. I haven't touched it yet. First off, we're going to start with the tap water. Now, a lot of times I would take this to the sink, but, you guys are here with me, so today we're not going to a sink. And I'm going to fill this paint cup up. And I'm going to pour some of this crap out. Fill it up. Pour it out. Fill it up. Pour it out. Fill it up again. This time I'm going to take my paper towel, stick her down in there really good, keep it in the camera so you can see what I'm doing and all the daggone cords out of the way. You guys, until you record a video, you'll never understand the pain of trying to do this behind a camera. We're just going to wipe real good, pull most of this out. Now we're going to get down in there, wipey, wipey. Now, the water does not take off the residue perfectly. That's what we have the airbrush cleaner for. But the water helps get the majority of the fresh paint out. Again, just fill this up a little bit. I'm going to go back to our paper towel here. Stick her back down in here. Sorry about the bouncy camera. Clean real good. So I get everything off the wall here. Now, so here's the issue that I'm having. I let this sit for just a few minutes while I was setting things up, and this paint started to dry a little bit on the wall. All right, now that that's done, now you can see the paint cup is cleanish. I'm going to put some more water in here, fill it up pretty good, and this is where we're going to stick it in this little doohickey here, and we're going to run this paint through it. The water through it. It's not paint. Come on, Paul. You know better than that. Okay, now you hear that sound difference. That means it came out. We're going to put some cleaner in here. We're going to do the same thing. As you can Might be able to see the water or the cleaner is tinted a little red, but that's okay. And the sound change means, well, it's empty. Now, here comes the quick and easy part 2. I'm just going to open up the handle. I'm going to carefully pull the needle out, and as you can see here, the air is coming. So just disconnect the air line a little bit. And you can see that there's still paint on the needle tip. We're going to use our already wet paper towel that we used with, that's got our airbrush cleaner on it. Wipe this needle off really quick. Reinsert it into our airbrush. Tighten the chuck down. And drop the air hose. Put some more cleaner in here real quick. Just a tad. Stick her back in here. Run most of it through. Then what I like to do, let's just get a paper towel. I'll start with something white. And let's see. Look at that. No red. It's clean. Here is the white loaded into the cup. Let us come back over here. Let's see if I can do a better paint job this time on the white on this car. Now I'm using the airbrush to help dry the paint a little bit so I can get a nice even layer. Alright, I think that's good enough. Let's try this. Boom. Ooh, boom. There we go. Gosh darn it. There, good enough. As you can see, it's white and not red. And don't look at that paint job because that was just horrid. Back over to the cleaning side of our little paint area. As you can see, the white paint is still in here. I'm going to disconnect the air hose before I drop it again. Sit over here for a moment. And this time we are going to be using, again, a paper towel, a little bit of water, and we will be using our airbrush cleaner. We will also be using a Q-tip. I like these airbrush brushes. These are nice, soft, well, they're stiff, but they're a soft bristle brush. They are not metal. And once in a blue moon, and I will show you today, I'm going to use some airbrush lube. That's not a necessity every time you airbrush, but since this is something you guys aren't used to doing, I'm going to show you where to apply it and how to apply it. So again, we're going to start with what we did the last time. We're going to just take our cup, and like I said, normally I would take this to a sink, a utility sink in my basement where I brought airbrush, and I would just rinse it out using that, which would be a lot easier than this. And I'm going to flush this, sorry about the bouncy camera again, as much as possible with this bit of water here. And I'm probably going to end up using 2 paper towels, only because, like I said, I'm used to rinsing this out in a sink, and when you use a sink, it rinses out much faster, even though I know some of you are going to say, well, you shouldn't be putting that down the drain. Well, guess what? Everybody does it. Quit complaining. So, again, I got this one just a little bit faster than the crimson paint, so it's coming out a little bit better. More water. And doing it this way, again, away from the sink, I know I keep talking about the sink, takes a little bit longer, because I'd be done by now with the cleaning with the water part. Hook our air source back up. Coming to, this is called a cleaning pot, or cleaning jar. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. And if you do what I do, and you take your needle protector off, be very careful when you are moving this thing around. You do not bend the tip. And as you can see, there is still a milky white watery in here. And yes, we're going to just run our water through here real quick. And I'm probably going to do it again with some water. That looks pretty good. Some more water. Okay, enough of the water. Let's get to the heavy duty stuff, our airbrush cleaner. Now, I like to fill this up quite a bit because normally I use only 1 paper towel for cleaning this entire thing, but like I said, didn't use the sink. I'm going to keep talking about the sink, guys. Anyhow, kind of done with this. I'm going to take my paper towel, and I'm going to take one corner and I'm going to dip her in here and let it wick up some of this airbrush cleaner for later use. And I'm going to do the thing with the opposite corner. Let it wick it up for later use. I'm going to set that right here. Oh, and I need a tool for my airbrush. You may not. And I'm going to take my, that's a dirty one. Take a clean Q-tip, again, dip her in here, get her clean. Now this I would use primarily if I were to have left my paint or my needle protector on, which I didn't. So, okay, now that those are ready to go, we're going to run all of this airbrush cleaner out of the airbrush. Okay, I'm tired of waiting. Okay, that right there got you 90% of the way done. And the sad thing is, I know a lot of people stop right there and go, okay, it's clean, I'm done. No, it's not clean and you're not done. Now that you have ran your airbrush cleaner through your airbrush, disconnect your air supply. If you had an airbrush with a removable paint cup, at this point in time, well, I'll just show you one. Well, I'll show you one here in a minute when we get to that point. But that's where I would take it apart right now to get down in there and clean. But the first thing we're going to do is going to be kind of opposite of what you would normally see, is I'm going to take off my air cap. All this assembly is going to come off. I'm going to loosen up my handle. I'm going to loosen up the chucking nut for the needle. I'm going to push it out this way. Now you saw the last time I pulled it through. You can do that. I don't like doing it all the time other than when doing color changes because I don't want to pull all that paint through my airbrush. But as you can see, this one actually came pretty clean. And actually there's still a little bit of red left in there that was pulled through my airbrush when I pulled it the other way. That's why I don't like doing that so much. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the needle. And that is why I wetted the ends of these, or this paper towel. And just very carefully, just pull it through until you see no more paint. You can twist it as you're pulling it. Just don't shove it that way or you'll stab yourself. And boy, these things are very, very, very sharp. And, well, there is the color, well, actually the red on there. Now, I said don't put it that way, but I'm going to clean the lower half of this, which I'm going to pull it that way. Just be careful of the tip, right, guys? Here is our needle. It looks nice and clean. And here at this point in time, you can run it very carefully through your fingers to feel for any burrs at the tip to make sure you didn't bend your tip. I'm going to set that one right here. Now you'll see I have another needle here. This is one that I bent the tip on a long time ago. And I use that as a cleaning tool now. So we're going to keep that away from the good one. Next step that I like to do is I like to take the corner. You can use either corner. I just wet both. That way I have options. And I twist this up nice and tight. Just like that. And I will take our little needle guide here, and I will run this in here. This is actually the fluid nozzle, not the needle guide, I'm sorry. I will roll that in here to help clean it out. Now, I know that you probably can't see, but I can. If you look down through your fluid nozzle, if it's clean, you can see light. Even though it's tiny, tiny, itty bitty tip, you can see light at, well, the end of the tunnel. So you know that that's clean. That's the reason why I keep this old bent needle around. If by chance I was painting with paint that was not very kind and kind of messy and goopy and wouldn't clean well, I could take this old needle that I don't care about and I can kind of just stick it in here like this and help to kind of scrape out very carefully. Now I'm not scraping hard, just pushing through any, stuck on pieces and clean it like that. Just push them through and pull them off the tip. But we did not have that issue today. So anyways, that is clean. If you want to go the extra step, you could take your little brush here and just very carefully, you don't shove it on. You don't want to damage the internal of this. This is brass. This is soft. So you just want to just kind of just do it like that. Get it nice and clean, but that is done. Now this also tip comes off here. Your nozzle cap comes apart if, okay, I can't get it apart. I'm a weakling. I put it on there way too good. Oh, seriously. Right when I'm on a video, right? Okay, there we go. Just need a little bit of leverage. Now, normally this does not get too dirty at all. This is just where the air mixture comes in. So normally you're pretty good here. If you did see, paint, well, of course, would clean it. And here's how I would do it. Again, I would probably go to the other corner and I would twist her up again. Maybe not quite as tight. And I would just kind of push down there like that and just give her a twist. Same with this on the inside here, give her a twist. And with this too. Now this is where part of this comes in handy as far as having a Q-tip. You can shove it down in there like that. Put it down here like this, help get that clean. Now here's where we are coming to the part, as you can see, that maybe you can see, maybe you can't. There's still some red residue inside of there. I'm going to shove this down in there with that wet corner down in there, and I'm just going to go to town on it. Just twist and shout, right? And look at all that came out of there. Now we're clean on the inside on that end. We're going to get to our other end that we already twisted up. We are going to come into here, and I'm going to get this, I'll push this in here like this to get this nice and soaked with the cleaner. Twist her up. And then we're going to come in with our slightly larger brush and just go in here like this and just very carefully clean that as well. Now I'm going to do what's going to freak most people out. I'm pulling the trigger out because I actually want to break this down a little further. Now you do not have to do this in order to clean this airbrush. For all intents and purposes, it's properly cleaned. You can put her back together and she's going to work fine. But I wanted to show you how to do some lubrication. So we're going to take apart this whole entire needle, guide, spring, chuck, assembly thing, majigger. I'm going to pull it all out of here. Look at all those parts fall out. This is why everybody gets scared right there. Oh my God, what happened? It's not a big deal, guys. We'll figure it out. Before we go to that though, one of the reasons why I use a Q-tip is if you did use your needle cap, every time, I don't care, not a lot of time, every single time, you're going to have paint buildup on the inside of this needle cap right in there. And the Q-tips are perfect for doing that and cleaning it. I do not use a needle cap because of the paint buildup that gets on here. Invariably, when you're painting, paint that's built up on that is going to come off at the most inopportune time and ruin your project. So don't use it. As you can see, we now have a mess of parts on our work mat. Before you guys freak out, there's not a whole lot here. You've got your spring guide, you've got your spring, you've got your needle chucking guide, and you have your needle chucking nut. That is the internal parts that everybody freaks out about. It's not a big deal, folks. And of course, you have your fluid needle here, and you have your nozzle cap assembly here, and we have our needle cap that we don't use here. We have the body of the airbrush, and we have our handle, and of course our trigger. As you can see here, this is where the needle goes through the trigger right there in the center. So the reason I took this apart again is because I'm going to show you how to lube your airbrush. Now, I do not lube my airbrush very often, maybe once every 3 months, depending how much I use it, or when I feel it starting to feel not so smooth. If I feel it being not so smooth and I know that I'm cleaning it properly and well, then I know, hey, it's time to put a little bit of lube on this. And I have had this little thing of lube for literally years. It takes just a dab. So, first thing I'm going to do through lube is I am going to grab our spring guide here, and I'm just going to put just a daps right there. Take my finger, just run it around. And this stuff is like super lubey. That's a really weird term, isn't it? Super lubey. Put our spring back in. We're going to put our chucking guide back in, and we're going to put our chucking nut on just to hold all of this together. So now this has got that's nice and smooth. Work it a little bit. You see you've got your little tab here. This is what goes up through this hole, just like this, okay? Once we get our trigger reinstalled. As a matter of fact, you could start it if you want to, but I just like to have it hanging just like that. In a minute. get her out of here just for a moment. Okay, as far as our trigger goes, again, just I'm gonna put. I mean, I'm not even squeezing. I'm just using kind of what's kind of gravity coming out of here. And just putting it on the sides of this because this, does rub a little bit right in there. That's it. Now here's the hard part with this particular trigger, and a lot of these designed like this, is you got this little swivel down here. This sits on top of the air valve. Okay, this is your air piston, and this pushes down on your air valve to open and close your air valve. So I know it's really hard to see down in there, but you see a little circle in the center right there? We got to get this in that circle. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. And you can tell you have it, because if you don't have it right, then it's not going to feel like a trigger. It's not going to push down. Okay, there. It's in there right. So now that I have that in there, I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to put my whole needle guide, assembly, springy, dewy thing back in here. Again, with that little tab facing up. We're going to thread it in. Now, on this particular airbrush, and most dual action airbrushes that like this, you just thread this all the way forward. And it holds your needle, holds your trigger in place. Now, it could still fall out. If you grab it, it'll pull out, but it'll hold it well enough to lay that back down. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is, not up here, because this in the areas where our paint goes, but right down here, again, just a little dab of lube. Okay, take my finger, I'm just going to go like so. There are O-rings in here, folks, that you want to keep nice and lubed up. And we'll do this very carefully. It's hard to do. Oh, I got her. Let's loosen it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get started, and I'm doing this I want to push it through just a little bit, just to help get everything nice and lubed up internally. I'll pull the needle most of the way back so it's away from the front. We're going to put our fluid nozzle in, put our needle cap on, or nozzle cap, I mean, and then our rest of our nozzle cap. It's a two-parter. Come on, why don't you ever thread when you're on camera properly? Okay, there we go. Now, this one, like I said, takes a wrench. A lot of them are just, you can use your hands. I'll show you one here in a second. But this one here, I have to put the wrench on, and it just, boop, not very tight. And this time I will put our needle cap on to protect our needle. Push our needle all the way through until it seats properly. Tighten up our chucking nut. Put on our handle. And that's it. Smooth, springs forward perfectly, doesn't catch, just like she was when she was brand spanking new. And folks, if you take the time to clean your airbrush properly, as I mentioned, you do not need to put your lube on every time. Just when you feel like it needs it. You can feel a difference when you get used to it. But if you clean this airbrush every single time, when you go to use it again, it's going to work like it was brand new every time. And you're going to not have a headache, and you're not going to be cussing at your airbrush going, damn you, why don't you work? Because it's going to work. Now that you saw your standard airbrush, this is an Iwata HPCS. This is my workhorse. This is an amazing airbrush. I cannot recommend this Iwata HPCS enough. It is absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I loved it so much that back in the day they offered the Iwata HPCS Custom, which gave you the preset handle in a larger cup. I don't believe this is made anymore, but this was a pricey tool, but it again is a beautiful working airbrush. I absolutely love my Iwatas. Another airbrush that's very similar is this one here from Gallery. This is an absolutely beautiful airbrush as well. Has a different trigger style. This is a flat trigger, which I absolutely love. This is a very, very high quality airbrush for a tenth of the price of an Iwata. The difference between these airbrushes is a couple of things. One, this is a 0.35 millimeter or micron needle and nozzle tip set, which is pretty standard for most general purpose airbrushes. Both my HPCSs are the same needle. This is a 0.2. This is called a micron. This is much finer air pattern, much finer spray pattern, I should say, than the 0.35 to allow you to get into more detail. It also has what's called a MAC valve here that you can set your air pressure to say 15 psi or 20 psi at your air source, your air compressor, and you can actually have it wide open running at their 20 psi, or you can actually cut the airflow down with this MAC valve right here. And you have a little bit finer control when you're painting. That's an awesome, awesome little addendum to this airbrush. And your general purpose airbrushes, some of them have them as well. And this also has a preset handle. And I cannot tell you just how amazing this airbrush works for the price. And it is just, I mean, look at this thing. It's absolutely beautiful. I really do suggest the Gallery Mobius, as you can see right here, if you want a really nice micron airbrush that's not going to break the bank. For example, I do believe, don't quote me, but I'm almost positive this was well under $100. Like, I want to say maybe $80, maybe $90 when I got this one. To get the equivalent micron in your Iwatas, you're going to be paying probably closer to $400, just as an example. Okay, enough about my beautiful airbrushes, and let's talk about a different style of airbrush and how it comes apart for cleaning. And that different style airbrush is your trigger style airbrush. This happens to be one made by Bucasso. Again, this is, you know, I hate to say the word a lesser brand. These are very quality airbrushes. They're just not the name brands like Iwatas and Posh and Hodder and Steinbeck and things like that. And you don't pay that price, but these things still work quite amazingly. These things still work amazingly well. My gosh, use your words. Amazingly well. Thank you. Anyways, down to it. As you can see, this is a totally different style of airbrush. You got a trigger. Bang, bang, bang. It's actually called the AK... What is it called? The AK-47. Really? Anyways, it feels really, really good in the hand. It actually paints really well. The nice thing about this airbrush is it comes with 3 different needle and nozzle tip sets. It comes with a 0.8, a 0.5, and I want to say either a 0.35 or a 0.4, maybe a 0.3. I never use the small one because I have other airbrushes set up. I usually run either the 0.5 or the 0.8 in this airbrush for running clear coats and thicker material through an airbrush. That's what I use this for. It's absolutely beautiful. So enough about that. It's very similar in the fact that you have your tip, you have your needle cap here, which again I don't use. Well, actually it's coming apart with the the nozzle cap's coming off with it. Okay, here comes the needle cap, nozzle cap set, and here is the nozzle cap itself as well. And again, as you can see, this one here, you use your fingers, no tool, take it apart. Pulling it off. Now this is all one big massive set, and my Iwata, you notice this part here was separate. You can take this off. It is super teeny tiny, and that is what this tool is for right here. You put this tool on here, and you're gonna this wrench, and you can take it off. I'm not going to. There's absolutely no need to take that off unless you destroy it, break it, and have to change it. Other than that, just leave that on there. Don't ever take that off. There's really no need to. If you clean your stuff properly, there's no need to. Anyway, you can see the needle sticking out. Again, just like the other airbrushes, the handle comes off. Your needle chucking thing comes out, or your chuck nut. Your needle comes out, and the whole assembly still unscrews, just like your standard airbrush does. It all comes out just like that. The difference is you have a little groove here that you have to line up in your airbrush body to put it back together, but the trigger does not fall apart, doesn't come off. That's pretty cool. Now, yes, you could take all this apart. You can pull the handle off, and you could break this down, and you could unscrew it here and pull this apart. There's absolutely no need to do that when cleaning this airbrush. Oh, here's the other thing I was talking about earlier is this cap. This cap comes off. The reason this cap comes off is this comes with multiple size cups, or should I say cap? Right there's the cap. Anyways, the cup. It comes off, so you can really get in there and clean that really well. So I'll put something like this back together. Very simple. Other than, this part being a bit of a pain in the buttocks. You got to get this, just kind of put it in there until it seats. All right, I think it's in there. Is it in there? Yeah, it's in there. Okay, so put that in. Put this part back together. Again, this gets screwed all the way down. And it takes a long time. And we're buying. Okay, here's my fluid nozzle. We're going to put that back together. My nozzle cap. My needle protector or needle cap, whatever you want to call it. Stick the needle back in. Oh, sorry. Where'd my chucking nut go? Oh, rolled away. It's way over here. Let's get that on first. You know better than that. Not all the way up. Stick our needle back in. Bang. Put our handle back on. Look at there. She's back together. Just that quick and easy. Well, I hope my little video helped some of you, if not most of you, learn how to properly maintain your airbrush to keep it in its most optimum performance working position and way to go. Yes, to make it work properly. That way the next time you pick this airbrush up and you go to paint, you're not cussing at it or yourself for not cleaning it properly. With that, I might add, do not paint and like, oh, I'm gonna go get a sandwich and you set your airbrush down. I really actually need to clean it first. As you saw in just a few minutes that I took from when I finished painting the red and moving the camera around, the paint started drying in the paint cup already. And if it starts drying in there, that sucks. If it starts drying down in the body, down in here, that really sucks, because then you really got to work at getting it cleaned out. And it may take several cleanings to get it back to working at its most optimum working ways. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. To make it work properly. Now that we've done the cleaning part, now I'm going to come to the sales pitch part because I want to make some money off you guys. Yes, I like money. No, actually, to help you out, I'm going to put links in the description below to all the things that I used today in this video to help clean your airbrush, along with a few other things that you might like. First and foremost was that mat. I'm not going to pick it up. Well, you know what? Heck. Just hold on a second. I'm just going to make a mess here. Never mind. Bang. This parts mat from Iwata. It's, I don't know how much it is. I bought mine years ago. It was on sale. But this is really nice to have. If you're going to be painting quite often, I suggest you get one of these. Like I said, if not, use a towel for now. But definitely pick one of these up if you can afford it. It really helps you to keep from losing your parts, which helps you to keep from losing your mind. Other things that we use today. Airbrush cleaner. I'm using Creatix brand cleaner. As a matter of fact, all the paints that I use are Creatix brand. I cannot talk highly enough about Creatix branded paints. This is their Wicked Color. This is actually their candy paint, which I've done some candy videos. I'm going to be doing another one pretty soon. This stuff is pretty awesome. They have reducers. I mean, they have everything, guys. Everything you can need to paint, Creatix has. They have a YouTube channel telling you how to use their stuff. They, you can go to their website, tells you how to use your stuff. Creatix, to me, folks, is the way to go. I'm not sponsored by Creatix. I'd love to be, maybe someday. But right now, I just love their products. And again, links to their products in the description below if you want to go check them out. These links are all Amazon links, Amazon and social links. That's where I get my money from you guys. If you buy something, Amazon gives me a little bit of kickback, which I absolutely love. Airbrush wise, Iwata HPCS. If you can afford only one airbrush and you have a little bit of money, I believe these are under 200 bucks right now. I cannot suggest enough to get the HPCS from Iwata. This is, I do everything with this airbrush pretty much. I mean everything. Before I got my trigger style here with the larger needle nozzle setup, I ran the clear coats through this. I just had to thin them a little bit more. This just makes my life a little bit easier, but I still love this airbrush. This is the one to get if you can only get one. And if you want one that's going to be a lifetime airbrush, guys, I've had this thing for 15, maybe 18 years now. And the only thing I've ever done is change one needle out of it because my big dumb butt bent the tip by not paying attention. Other than that, I've never changed an O-ring. I've never done anything other than keeping it clean. And this thing is a workhorse, and it is amazing to this day. The other airbrush I showed you was this Mobius 2.0 from Gallery. If you want to get a micron style airbrush, to me, folks, this is the way to go for now. Price wise, not for now, for price. Microns, unless you're doing a lot of professional, like, super fine artwork, you're not really going to be using these a lot, other than maybe detailing on new models, because that's what most people that watch this channel are doing, is model painting. So if you have a little extra money, this micron is pretty amazing. Other things you're going to need, other than the nice airbrushes, is pick up a cleaning pot, cleaning jar. I mean, these are all over Amazon. They're super cheap. Your cleaning brushes, these are airbrush specific. Again, these are stiff bristles, but they're not wire. You don't want to run a wire bristle in your airbrush. You could ruin the internals. So pick up some good airbrush cleaning brushes. That's a mouthful. And some lube. Now, I will send you a link to a different kind of lube, because I don't even know if this stuff's still for sale anymore. Like I said, I've had this forever. I think that's it. I hope, again, that you learned something. If you did, smash that thumbs up, smash that bell, smash that subscribe button, all that crap people tell you to do. If you didn't learn anything, if you didn't like it, then just go away and leave me alone. Okay? I don't want to hear it. I'm married. I hear it enough. I don't want to hear it from you too. All right? Now, guys, as always, thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate you very much. Good luck. Take care. And God bless you, everybody.